So I've been thinking for a while if there's a better way for senior leaders and building tenants to assess the risk to their people and business in the event of an earthquake when signing up to a building, other than simply relying on the MBS. I believe they need to consider other factors that impact on life safety rather than just relying on the MBS alone to determine if a building is safe. A high MBS rating is not necessarily a panacea to preventing injury or death in the event of a major earthquake. The MBS is one tool in the box, but it's not the only way to assess building risk. Its main purpose has always been to find out if a building is earthquake prone and needs strengthening. It tells us about the structural design and likely construction flaws of the building, but we can't fully ascertain the overall risk to life safety from this. A low MBS rating doesn't necessarily mean a building is dangerous and is likely to collapse. The MBS is a useful predictor of resilience, but it's not an exact one. So we need to think about what other potential risks could arise. These are mainly from non-structural elements of the building, a tenant's own furniture and equipment, and even certain building features and design elements. Looking at these a little closer, we should be aware of potential risks while on the floor. These risks come mainly from the stuff in the ceiling dropping down on us, stuff like heating and ventilation equipment, piping, cable trays, lights and ceiling tiles, and even exterior elements like glazing. They also come from equipment such as large cabinets and joinery units that aren't affixed to strong walls and become potential projectiles when a violent quake strikes. As we leave the floor and make our way out of the building, we need to be aware of hazards on the way to the stairs, and even the size and design of the stairwells themselves. If the stairwell is narrow, then it's going to delay the rate at which people can exit from the floor. We also need to be aware of what risks surround us at the gathering point. Things like falling debris from canopies, parapets, building facades, and generally the other buildings around us. The gathering point might also pose other risks like being a traffic hazard. So we're going to need to put all these things together, the MBS, the internal and external building risks, and come up with some easily understood rating tool that can be used in practice. I'll leave it to the experts to work out what that would look like, but possibly another star rating system. But there's going to be a few challenges to doing this, like what is the criteria we should use? How do we quantify and measure that? And who decides the importance of each and what's not included? The key takeaway is that the MBS is not the sole way to assess how safe a building is. There are other things that we need to take into account if we're going to improve our chances of getting out safely.